Potholes, broken streetlights, overflowing garbage, you know the deal. We've all been there. You see a problem, you want to report it, but the whole process just feels like, well, like shouting into the void. Today, we're going to look at a new approach that promises to change all of that. It's about empowering us, the citizens, to actually make a real change in our own cities.
So let me just ask you this. Have you ever reported a civic issue and then just crickets? Nothing, no update, no confirmation, just radio silence? It's such a common feeling, right? That frustration that your voice just isn't being heard by the very people who are supposed to be listening.
And you know what? That feeling, it's not just in our heads. It's backed up by some pretty stark numbers. Get this, in major Indian cities, a staggering 60% of all civic complaints are either super delayed or go completely unresolved. 60%. That's more than half people. It just paints this really clear picture of a system that's just struggling with inefficiency and, honestly, a real lack of accountability.
All right, so let's dig into this a little deeper. I mean, these aren't just one-off problems, right? They're symptoms of much bigger, systemic issues that are plaguing our city's reporting systems. So let's break down exactly what those core frustrations are.
Man, these problems are probably going to sound frustratingly familiar, aren't they? You've got the slow, hard-to-reach helplines, the total lack of transparency in updates, and of course, no way to even track if your issue is being looked at. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a local problem. We're talking about cities like New York and London facing similar backlogs with up to 35% of reports just sitting there, pending. It's a global challenge that really affects everyone, from the most tech-savvy folks to those who are kind of left behind by that digital divide.
Yeah, this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the old way. Slow, impossible to see what's going on, and just deeply frustrating. But what if, just what if, we could completely flip that script? What if the whole process could be simple, transparent, and, actually empowering for every single one of us?
And that, my friends, is where a new platform called CityPulse comes into the picture. It was literally designed from the ground up to tackle these exact problems, offering a much smarter, more efficient way to connect us citizens with our city officials.
So what is it exactly? Well, at its core, CityPulse is a super straightforward and intuitive platform that just lets you report civic issues. The really crucial part here is how accessible it is. It's not just another app you have to go and download. It works through a clean web app and, maybe most importantly, through a simple WhatsApp chatbot.
So let's look at what makes this thing so effective. For one, you can just snap a photo and pinpoint the exact location using Google Maps, so there's absolutely no confusion. Plus, it's got separate dashboards for citizens and for the city admins, and you can track your complaint status in real time. But honestly, that WhatsApp integration, that's the real game changer. It makes reporting an issue accessible to pretty much everyone.
Okay, so how does a complaint actually go from your phone to, say, a fixed pothole? The whole process is designed to be incredibly simple and transparent. Let's walk through that journey together.
It's really just 4 simple steps. First, you report the issue, either on the web or through WhatsApp. Second, your complaint gets securely logged into the database. Third, an administrator reviews it, assigns it to the right department, and gets things moving. And finally, step 4, you get to track its progress with a real-time status updates. See? No more black box, no more guessing what's going on.
Now that all sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work? Does it make a difference? Well, let's look at the data, because the impact is where this story gets really, really exciting. The results show real, measurable change.
Okay, just look at this chart. This shows the average time it takes to resolve a complaint. With the old systems, you're looking at over 20 days. With CityPulse, that time absolutely plummets to under 7 days. That is a massive reduction, more than 2/3. It's the difference between a problem just sitting there for weeks and actually getting it fixed fast.
And what happens when issues get resolved that much faster? Well, people feel heard. It's that simple. Cities that have brought in active civic tech platforms like this have seen a 27% jump in reported citizen satisfaction. Turns out, when you give people a tool that actually works, it starts to rebuild that trust and engagement.
This really comes down to a simple but incredibly powerful strategy. Meet people where they already are. Think about it. Only a tiny fraction of citizens, about 28%, actually use those old, clunky city portals. But in urban India, 81% of people use WhatsApp. So, by using a tool that's already on practically everyone's phone, CityPulse just completely bypasses that adoption problem and helps close that digital divide.
And believe it or not, this is really just the beginning. The platform is designed to keep evolving, to get even smarter over time. So, What's next on the horizon for this kind of civic tech? Let's take a look.
So before we look ahead, let's just take a quick peek under the hood. Now, you don't need to be a tech expert here, but it's good to know that this whole thing is built on a really robust, modern foundation. We're talking about things like Supabase for a secure, real-time database, and something called N8N for automating notifications. All that techie stuff is the engine that makes the simple, user-friendly experience possible. It's why the platform is so fast, secure, and reliable.
And the roadmap for the future? It's pretty ambitious and pretty cool. First up, using AI to automatically categorize and sort issues. That means the most urgent problems get tackled first, automatically. Next, they're planning to integrate directly with government portals to create a totally seamless workflow and cut down on delays. And finally, a dedicated mobile app with offline features is in the works, making sure everyone can report an issue, even if they don't have a stable internet connection.
You know, at the end of the day, it all comes back to this one simple, powerful idea. This isn't really just about technology. It's about collaboration. It's about creating a true partnership between us, the citizens, and our city, all to build better, smarter, and more responsive communities for every single person.
So the big takeaway here is this. That feeling of frustration doesn't have to be the end of the story. With the right tools in our hands, every single citizen really does have the power to become a change maker. The question isn't if we can improve our cities anymore. The real question is, how quickly can we empower everyone to be part of that solution?